Well, I think there's a number of reasons why we lost. Number one, people had doubts about us over immigration. They didn't think we were facing up to people's legitimate concerns. They had doubts about our economic competence. But I think in the end, we didn't tell a positive enough story about what change Labour would bring and why we would make things better in terms of the things people care about, housing, young people. We didn't have a strong enough story. So we've got to reflect on all of those things and we will, and come back stronger. You know, in my time as a politician, I've changed. I've become disillusioned with the way the Westminster world works and the London set work. And it really came home to me in 2009 when I was Culture Secretary and I went to Anfield at the 20th anniversary of Hillsborough. You know, I've been part of I feel like a government that hadn't been listening, was in that Westminster world, and you know, I faced the justified anger of people where I grew up, and I had a choice to make. Can I carry on towing the Westminster line, or did I do the right thing by the people who I know? And obviously I did the latter. So you know, I've, as a politician, been changed by all of those things, and I kind of really feel strongly now that there's a real depth of disillusionment with modern politics, and it has to change massively if it's to win people's respect and trust. You know, it's not just here, Scotland as well. You know, people, when they've looked at Labour people, haven't felt that they really understand what's going on in their lives. And you know, the way I describe it is, you know, most people haven't drifted away from Labour. Labour's drifted away from them. Well, I honestly don't understand why this government is cutting nurse training places. Surely we should be training our own nurses and bringing our own young people to work in hospitals. I don't think there's any shortage of people. But more broadly, immigration can be a good thing. It can bring diversity, it can bring skills that we don't have, but it has consequences. And the trouble is, sometimes we just leave communities to face those consequences on their own. So people see their wages undercut, or they see pressure on primary school places or at the GP surgery, and it looks like London and Brussels just doesn't even see those things, and they just leave people to try and cope with those issues. And I think that is what it is. It's not xenophobia in any way. People just see the real effects of immigration, and they don't see the political class doing anything to help them deal with it. So freedom of movement is a good thing, but freedom to work shouldn't be the same thing as freedom to claim. So I would have restrictions on people's access to benefits and housing. That's number one. Number two, I think we need new rules from Europe to stop the undercutting of wages. You know, people in skilled jobs can find that they're undercut by agencies who bring in staff and then employ them on the minimum wage. I think we need action to stop that. Number three, more help for communities who are most affected by the changes. So more public money to give to the primary schools and GP services, for instance.
I'm supporting Andy Burnham because we need to reach out to town and country. In a place like Lincolnshire, we need someone who's credible enough to basically reach out from what our core vote is, and to get people who switch to Green, switch to other parties, switch to UKIP, but also as well as who voted Tory as well. And I think Andy's the best credible person we have, not only to be a strong leader of the opposition, but to be a good Prime Minister in waiting. And we need someone like Andy with his strength and with his experience to basically get us back on our feet again. I mean, I think nationally, and I found it a lot on the doorstep as well, people still believe this Tory myth that Labour wrecked the economy. And in some respects, I don't think we lost the election in 2015. We actually lost it back in 2010, because during the last Labour leadership election, there were very few candidates who were actually defending Labour's record, and the only person who I felt was actually Andy Burnham. So on the doorsteps here, that was a big factor. It was also as well the SNP, I think that a SNP would be into government with Labour. A lot of people didn't like that too. But so really for me it was economic competence, trying to basically win back our credibility on that and trying to nail the Tory myths. I think obviously we all want to play a part in winning back Lincoln for Labour, but you know, that's a 5-year job to be able to do. We won't select our candidate probably for this seat for probably a good 2 or 3 years. We might even have an all-in shortlist. I mean, I'm just focused on trying to help Labour win back Lincoln, to do well in the local elections next year, and obviously in the county elections going from there. So I think it's too early to say, but obviously I think anybody would be proud to stand for Lincoln.